God said, let there be light. Okay. I've decided to paint a beach. Make a horizon line. And I'll finish this Sunday. And today what I'm going to try to do is not lose my thoughts halfway through talking, so that way I don't have to do voiceovers. I'm going to paint a beach. Now that I see that, I'm thinking I want my line to be a little bit higher. Oh man. Hold on, let's put this in. I do. I think I want my line a little bit harder. But I think so. And I want a cotton candy sky thing happening because that's a great time. Let's start with the sky. Get your brush wet. And I'm gonna grab the teal. This is so bright. I'm gonna mix it with some white. And thin it out with some water. Spread it around. Blend this out a little bit. And then you have a fuzz. Are you even painting if you don't have fuzz land on it? I don't think so. That sky is a little bit bright. Grab a little bit of the blue. That likes to give me problems. And my paper's too wet. So let's move down to the water. It's gonna be darker down here. Where your horizon line is, it's gonna be darker. Then the closer the water is to you, which didn't sound like very good English, sorry. That means that my water line was way too close to my paint line, and now it's gonna travel. That's okay. I don't know if I've ever done beach with acrylic. I think I've always done it with watercolor. I was like, you know what? Let's be different. Let's be different. Weird smudges in now. Because why not? Check how dry the top is. Check my hand for paint first because I'm clearly not trusted. I'm gonna take the blue and mix it with a little bit of this purple because I want the top darker, but not like this color blue darker. Darker because the sun is going down behind the horizon. That looks pretty good. Let's grab some purple. And yes, I know, that looks scary. I'm gonna thin it out with water and blend it up. Right here is light. Can't have that. I'm not planning on putting any clouds in, so I don't want any white streaks, which is hard to do when I have this much water on my paper. I wanted it to be thinner. I noticed I definitely changed how I paint with acrylic. And if you paint with acrylic all the time, you might be thinking the same thing, like, why is she using so much water? Because I painted with watercolor so long, and then when I went back to acrylic, I started using some of my watercolor ways in my acrylic space. And I was like, hey, I actually like it. I learned how to paint with acrylic first. I actually thought I hated watercolor. It was difficult, it was tricksy. It likes to move without your permission. It's not like I have control issues or anything, but it likes to move without my permission. So rude. Every time I do a layer, I blend up again or down. Some more blue at the top. So anywho, I learned to paint on acrylic. I took watercolor courses and I was like, oh, snappity snap turtles, I can do this. What do you know? This is amazing. So I did watercolor for a while and then I didn't touch acrylic while I was doing it. I was just focused on trying to figure out this weird watercolor nonsense and all of its weird rules. I even played with oil, which I love. I think oil is the best thing ever. I'm not great at it. It drives me crazy because the amount of dry time, but I love, absolutely love the texture of oil. I'll pull out the oil paints every once in a while. I tried some journaling and that came with like stamps and gesso and all kinds of fun stuff. Point being that I think it's important to play with all kinds of different types of art, not just to find out what you like, but each thing teaches you something new that you can apply to what you do. And you could take it back and it just helps refine your style or define your style. So tinkering with other art I think is important. So I bounce back and forth between acrylic and watercolor. Sometimes I will put too much water on my paper when I'm doing watercolor, or I won't use enough water when I'm doing watercolor because I'm used to acrylic, and that is just fine. I switch back and forth between super bright colors and super dark colors. Neutrals are not my jam. Full disclosure, I see a neutral and it makes me cringe a bit. I don't know why, it just does. I need bright, bold, vibrant colors. I think they're lovely in other people's art. I just can't have them in my own. And I think that's another important thing, that what you think your style is and what your style actually is might not actually be the same thing. And what does that mean? So when I look at watercolors and I see loose watercolors, I'm like, oh, those are so lovely. I look at flowers on loose watercolors and I'm like, ah, most beautiful thing I have ever seen. I try to paint loose or loose and flowers or flowers by themselves. Oh gosh. And I just absolutely can't stand what I made every single time without fail. I thought my style was like cartoonish, like, oh, I don't have the skills to be realistic. I think I'm like a cartoon, like simple shapes, simple shading. And the only way to figure it out is by painting and painting and painting and painting. You paint the same thing 500 times, your style will start to emerge. The things that you like, how you like to use color, how you like to do your shading, how you like to make a sky look like a sky. Like, I really love when colors get streaky. That makes me happy. Other people would like to blend the bejesus out of it, and that's fine. There's no right or wrong. Everyone likes what they like. That is your style of painting. Now I'm trying to do a line, so I'm thinking I can't talk for a minute because who can talk and make a line? I don't know. I kind of feel like I need my board back. Boop, boop, boop. I'm using watercolor paper, that's why it's warping. I have acrylic paper, I have canvases. I have probably more acrylic paper and canvases than anyone would ever need to own. That's an assumption on my part. There's probably someone who has way more than I do. And at some point, I realized I can use watercolor paper for all of the things. I also have mixed media paper somewhere around my room that has too many things. Let's actually behave and let that dry. I'm gonna grab some orange and some yellow. Opposite of orange, I'm gonna grab this turquoise. I grabbed way too much turquoise, but look at that beautiful green. Let's put some in the water. so I don't waste it. Again, it's gonna be darker up here and lighter down here where you're gross. It looks like turtle color or pea soup. Just go with the ugly color that I just did. It's fine. Just gonna go with it. What I was going to do was make sand, but my paint had other ideas and I didn't want to waste the green. Clean my brush, clean my brush. Let's try that again. Yellow, orange, a smidge of blue. So you get this yucky color and then grab some white. And now your yucky color looks like sand. Nailed it. Ooh, it's a lot yellow, isn't it? That's okay. Boop, 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 ba-doop, ba-doo. All right, I'm gonna cover some of the blue because if I leave a white gap and then there's white on my paper later, I'm gonna lose my mind. Dab, dab, dab. Love it. Okay, it's still a little bit wet up there, so let's grab a little brush, a little tiny brush. We're gonna put some shadow right here between the sand and the water line. You can tell when it's time to get new brushes. They start to get a little bit janky on you. Like, stay together, brush. And yes, I've tried the whole run it through hot water and it will get its life back together and all of that good stuff. And sure, up to a certain point. And sometimes your brushes just need to be replaced. So I'm grab that yucky green, yellow, whatever the heck. I mixed it with some purple. Yellow and purple make gray. And we're gonna do a little line right here. And Cassandra, don't be precious with it because it's supposed to be sand and there are no straight lines. Sometimes I forget that. Light hand makes a weird line, not like a not straight, a purposefully not straight, jagged line. So like if you're doing tree branches, those are not straight, right? So a lighter hand, or if you hold the brush up here, which feels really weird, it will look more natural than you trying to force a line. It's so wet in this corner. My bad. Let's go back to our horizon. I want it to be darker. I'm out of the blue. Can I make it with turquoise, purple, and medium magenta? Let's see. Ooh, no, it's like a medium blue. It's pretty though. How about some orange? Like, it's okay. I'm not mad at it. Cassandra, why did you put green there if you were just gonna cover it up? It adds dimension to my blue. And who doesn't love a green blue ocean? Is it weird painting on paper that's warping? Yes. Just adds to the danger. That's fine. What do we think? Oh, looking pretty good. Let's put some white-ish right here, cover up some of that green bleed. Don't hit the blue, I just put down, or I will be sad. Blend it up. This is where acrylic is forgiving. Watercolor, I actually have to let my layers dry and have more patience, which is fine when I'm in the mood for it. That is not today. Then should we cover that up with some pink or some yellow or some orange, a peach? I think that edge is still too white. Colors change as they dry, they get darker, so I don't think you need to over cover something. You just wait for it to dry and see the final result before you edit. I think I like it. That might be a little bit too bright on the horizon line, but we'll think about it. Down here is super yellow. Let's do an orange wash on top. I'm not mad at it. The water is dry-ish. Let's grab some purple. And I'm totally gonna touch that horizon line again. I don't know. I'm just not, I don't like it. Like, it's okay. It needs something else. Just keep putting color on it until you decide that you like it. Whew. I think that's as good as it's gonna get. I'm scared if I touch it again, it's gonna be toast. I'll put some layers in here. Darker on the edges and to the back. And lighter as they come forward. Now my worked paper makes a little bit of sense. Haha. And you might think, man, you were really clever to think to do those waves on a wavy piece of paper, but no. I only pre-think my paintings through so much. Ooh, isn't that pretty with that pink on there? Now, if you try to tell me that's not real life, I would say, could be. Nature does weird things, but it's pretty cool. And there are so many beaches in the world, and so many sunsets, and so many weather patterns. I'm pretty sure it did at some point. We're just gonna keep layering on colors. Go back to the teal. Oof, covered some of my purple, which makes me a little sad. Put some of that back. I flip or alternate between light and dark. I don't know why my words just can't words sometimes. It's kind of getting patterny. We're gonna blend this out, probably with my finger. You don't want it to be patterny, but your brain likes to make patterns. So just something to pay attention to. Let's see. Let's add some white and the turquoise together. We need some lighter bits in here. Now let's try to put some color back. You can't have light without shadows and vice versa. So you need to make sure that you have the contrast. I am barely touching, I was barely touching the brush to the paper. Just kind of wanted some faint lines. Some under where I had that pink earlier because I want to make those stand out. Put those little pops of pink back in because that was delightful. Putting light where we would just put some shadows so they can play off of each other. Not gonna worry about paint transfer from my finger. Just adds to it. Out here, way far away, you're just gonna have little tiny flecks of color. Where closer to you is where you have the like lines of waves. And clearly I was not paying attention to that when I did those streaks. Do some purple, tying those sky colors down in here into the bottom. Let's put some purple in the sand. I want those to be a little bit more buffed out. Some finger paint blue down here in the sand. Gives it some texture, makes it interesting. Like there's some sand shadows, because sand's usually not flat, right? There's usually something happening. All right, what do we think? What do we think? Let's add some more white. And again, you can do whatever you feel like doing because there's so many places in the world. I'm sure it matches something, and even if it doesn't matter. It's your world. Do what you want. Okay, let's let that sit and see how we feel about it. Now we need some water, some bubbly water. I don't know what we want to call it. Let's press the paint in, and I don't want to use this brush. Use these terrible bristly brushes. I don't know, they just feel weird, but they're delightful. Look at it. Perfect ocean water, fizzy, bubble thing. Trying not to cover my little shadow line all the way, just cover it a smidge. Because to have light, you have to have shadows. Don't ask me why I sing certain words. Blame my grandmother. You see, when you turn older, you go like, oh my God, I've turned into my mother. But I'm definitely going, oh my God, I've turned into my grandmother. My grandma would sing her words. So clearly it's deeply ingrained into my brain that that's what you do, is you have to sing your words sometimes. I do it at work. I do it at home. Clearly I'm doing it while I paint. I was singing a song to my kitten like a month ago. I was like, oh my God, I am my grandmother. I'm sure she is laughing in heaven. And she thinks that it's very amusing. Do some more whiter white on the edge, because now that it's drying, the blue is coming through, which is fine. Just do another layer of the white. Let's do some more out here on this side. I don't want to go too crazy with it, because I will. I love using this brush and dabbing paint everywhere. I forgot I had a weird edge over here, so let's take the water and cover it. Hey, wasn't even there. What do we think? I think the only thing that is a smidge off, other than this needs a shadow really quickly. Ooh, my gray is drying. That's where me and acrylic become unfriends. How dare you start to dry when I still wanted to use this color? Highlight some of these other bits that aren't as defined. Boop, 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 boop. Oops. Never even happened. I think just a little more right there. Because if the sun is coming this way, that means that these pockets would be in a shadow. Okay, so I think my only problemo now is that this corner is darker than this corner and the sun is over here. So that doesn't make sense. So we need to darken up this edge here. So let's grab the green and the purple, make a smudgy gray. Okay, now what do you think? Now I think we need to put initials on it. Boop, boop. Do I like the top? Right here is just a little bit wonky. It's not wonky, it's I don't know what it is. It's something. pink. Love it. I did that thing where I'm in my head again. I'm mostly dry. Let's see if I can do this. This is mica powder, dry brush. Yes. Beautiful. Should we do the sky and the sand too and just go full sparkle? Beautiful. Okay, now I'm gonna let it dry because my paper, I put so much water on it and it's pretty warped, which is, again, it's fine. So we're gonna let it dry before we pull the tape off. So we will be back.